But when we talk about time, like I said, there's the if this happens, this might happen, this could happen. Great, we all know that. But it's that when, which is, as Vince talked about earlier, the day you meet your maker, we don't know when that's going to happen. So live to the fullest as best you can while you have the time. And the other thing you hear people talk about is that I don't have enough time, the lack of time. And again, I think this comes down to mindset, because we all get how many hours in a day? 24. None of us has 27, 30. We all get that same 24 hours in a day. So why is it that some people can seem to do more with that 24 hours versus others who can't? So Vince, I'm gonna kind of pose that question to you, because we've kind of skirted this in the past, just about managing your time. And I know part of that is definitely tied to goals, but then how do you then put a framework together to manage your way through it so you can be productive and efficient?
You know, I think the first and foremost is recognizing I have enough time, or I have more time than I can do. And then the second part of that is really prioritizing what are the things I'm currently doing in my life that are adding value. I think for so much of it is you're just doing it because you've always done it, or you have to do it, or it has to be done this way, or whatnot. And that's a big thing, because now you're actually deciding. It's like Marie Kondo. Does this add value in my life or not? And a lot of that's relationships. Recognizing that are the relationships that are in my life adding value. And so much of it is you know uh, being surrounding myself with people that are supporting unconditionally. So like with Bridget and her authentic self, are there individuals that are actively supporting? I'm supporting them, they're supporting me. There's no quid pro quo, there's no zero sum mentality where, you know, oh, well, for me to win, you got to lose. So that's a big thing too. And then the last and final one, I think, for me in getting more time out there is asking for support. And that kind of bridges into the surrounding yourself with a community of folks that are supporting you. It's, I think for most of the things that the challenges that arise in my life, I have a choice. I can either stay internal and I can get in my own head and I can think about all the things that I coulda, shoulda, woulda. I can be miserable, or I can be like, okay, you know what? This is what's happened, uh, good, bad, right or wrong, and how long do I want to stay in this? Is it going to be a minute? Is it going to be an hour? Is it going to be a day, a week, a month? and and for me, asking for support is really the big thing. That I would say in the beginning of my personal growth journey, that was a challenging thing. Of course, now you bring in the whole ego. Oh well, I
Mhm.
I should be able to do this myself, or I'd be looked at as a failure or not enough. And then it's just like, no, here's my goal. How I ask for support, I think, is the big thing, and then doing it more and more and more. It's like, okay, I need this done. Here's my goal. Uh, is there anyone in my circle or circle of circles that can support me in achieving this goal? And a lot of times, the goals change. That the overall direction of where I want to go stays the same. How I get there, the different mechanisms, they change. And that's the thing about that too. It's just getting them out of my own head and recognizing that, you know, this is where I want to be. And there's many many different ways, and it always comes down to the relationship. Always in the day, life is about relationships. So for me, the mindset, having that abundance is within me. If I'm abundant and I see everyone else is abundant, then I will be able to achieve those goals and create more time and do more and level up. And every time I'm put in a situation where I feel like, oh my God, I'm not in control. Well, it's just like, again, as you said, you're never in control. So then it's like, okay, well, how can I schedule and do things more and commit to those? Like actually say, hey, I set this goal. I made this promise. I made this agreement, and I'm going to hold that. And then, or I'm going to say, you know what? This is not something that I can actually support or I can actually execute on.
Thanks for sharing that, Vince. So, Chris, I'm going to come to you because I want to ask this question, it's obviously, as you said, this last 2 to 3 years, it's been a transitional space for you, and two things that I've really seen you kind of lean into, and I want to just have you kind of explain and share how that's been working and how you got to that space. One is going to be gratitude, right, and then the second part of that is paying it forward, because I think there's been some shifts in you in both those spaces to where you are seeing, showing more gratitude, and then definitely a mindset shift of wanting to be that difference maker in ways of paying it forward. How did you work your way through that transition? What was your thought process? And then how is that feeding you right now? What are you getting from it? Oh, sorry, real quick. We'll get right back to the video, but I have a request from you. If you're getting value from this video, please click the subscribe button and also click like, and maybe even share this with some of your friends. Also, join our community by making a comment, sharing your thoughts, your experiences that are helping you to live, love, and lead your best possible life. That's it. Thanks for subscribing, and let's get back to the video.
Well, first and foremost, what I've really done is, and this is from taking a look at the overall, the totality of my life as a whole up until today, to this moment in time. And I've really started to work on being more grateful for the things that I have, for the experiences that I've been afforded, the people the great people that I've been fortunate enough to come into my life, and keeping that in the forefront of good days or bad days. So even on my worst day, I really try to start out with the day leaning into the gratefulness of it all. That even in difficult times or discourse with other people, there is still something to be grateful for. Because at the end of the day, I could have nobody around me, to argue with or to disagree with, or to, make amends with and come to similar conclusions. Um, Role models and people around me that I know care about me. Sometimes when people care about you, sometimes it doesn't always come off as they care about you, because sometimes they have to tell you about yourself. You know what I mean? And in the past, I haven't been good with that. I mean, I literally have looked at it as, you're coming at me, or you don't want me to succeed. You don't want me to be happy. Well, it's the exact opposite. And what I've also had to come in touch with is, there in most cases there's positive outcomes, but then there's what I like to call less than positive outcomes. I didn't say negative outcomes. I said less than positive outcomes, because I want to I really try to find a soft landing spot to where it doesn't wreck my overarching plan that I have for me, all my goals and dreams. And even at I keep saying this, and I know I've been kind of cloak and dagger about it lately. Is, I've got some stuff that I'm working on it, that are in my personal relationship life, that I'm navigating with help. I mean, I have some help, but the reality is, some of this I have to, and I'm not alone from the standpoint I'm alone, but the reality is it's a path I've got to get on myself and walk independently, and see what those paths ultimately bring to my life. And with that, reinforcing my belief system that I am good enough, I am deserving of. These are things that I go back and forth with, and I've got to keep reinforcing and reminding myself, as well as having people like you, Brian, and Vince, and you, Bridget, and some of the other mentors and people that help to keep the guardrails up for my life. Um, and I'm really blessed. And then, we talk about the authenticity piece, and that's something I've been really trying to lean into, because, I come from a mindset of, who cares what my opinion is? Why should anybody listen to me? That's the way I've always been. That's the way I was raised. That's the kind of the way I was made to feel as a child. Like, your opinion doesn't really matter. We're the experts, and this is what you should do. I've been trying to erase those tapes for years, and that's the, if it, in a lot of family dynamics, that's the boogeyman that people don't talk about. That your folks, while trying to love you, literally stunt your growth because they're trying to, bubble, as I like to say, bubble wrap you so nothing gets to you. This is the thing I had with my daughter's mom, that one of the reasons I left her was because she wanted to be that, she was the original helicopter parent. She wanted to wrap my girlie, my baby, in bubble wrap and make sure nothing affected her. I'm like, that's just not how life works. And I had to dig my heels in and say, she needs to go out here and skin her knees and understand that the pavement doesn't give. It's not like a mattress, you know what I mean, or a trampoline or something like that. When you fall, that shit hurts. So just all of those dynamics, because I'm self-admittedly a very deep thinking and feeling man.